My story. One of the most important parts of me that have shaped me not only as a person, but as a player is the fact that I'm Brazilian. I'm also Portuguese, American, and Peruvian with 3 different passports. But let's not get into that right now. Being Brazilian, I was instilled with a culture right from the get-go that was insane, over-the-top crazy, and head-over-heels passionate about the sport of soccer. My first present was a soccer ball. I started kicking that ball as soon as I learned how to walk. I was enrolled in my first official team at the age of 2 or 3. I think you get the idea. If I were to start with a story, my story, I guess it starts there. But to help you with the purpose behind reading this book, your first question will be answered now. How did you get to the professional level? Well, here's my story, and it ain't a golden road. Growing up, my sister and I never lacked the essentials of what we needed to live a healthy and fulfilling life. Our parents did everything in their power to get us to where we wanted to be with what they had. But on the other hand, we also knew that if we wanted a college degree and a high-level university education later on in life, we knew that we couldn't just pay our way to hold that piece of paper. We'd have to work for it. My sister signed with UCF, the University of Central Florida, and I ended up at the University of Florida for my first 1.5 years. And then later transferring to a small private school after getting what I needed to get done in high school to enroll in college by the age of 17. Secret number 1, commit as early as possible. It seems pretty simple when it's put like that, but the key to getting the best opportunity at receiving a full scholarship, especially on an athletic full ride, is to make the decision to get moving as early as possible. I'll get into the recruitment process later on in Chapter 2, but that might have been a mistake I have made. Although I received scholarships for my various academic achievements, the first school I went to wasn't an easy signature to a full ride. Secret number 2, do your research beforehand. Know exactly what you're looking for when looking at schools. My first university that I attended was a 50,000 student, popular, big school who played for the SEC and had over 20 players on the roster. Well over 20 players. It's no big secret how the schools operate. However, all I had were stars in my eyes and working with one of the best schools in journalism on my mind. Don't let the stars distract you from what's most important for you. Secret number 3, pick a major before you go. Even though that can be considered and may feel like one of the most difficult and weighted decisions that you'll ever make in your entire life, and that you've made thus far, you can do it. Start by narrowing down the main majors out there, and then sort out topics you would be highly, moderately, and a little interested in. Eliminate all the ones that you have absolutely no interest in. There are so many online tests you can take that delve into your personality, your interests, and so many other things that can help you decide what you want to study, but there's something satisfying about doing it on your own. As for me, I knew as soon as I realized my high aptitude for writing throughout my school years that I wanted to be a writer. I also immediately realized the not-so-outstanding business potential of majoring in something like creative writing. Unless I was the next J.K. Rowling, which I haven't ruled out yet. Knowing what your interests are, but being realistic about having enough money to put food on the table is something that can help sway your decision and narrow down the majors even more. Besides, even though you're going on a full ride to a school, not paying a dime of your own, wasting your time in a major that you're just going to switch 4 different times is not a very smart way of using your time wisely. You might actually end up paying for school after your 4 years are up because you didn't do what you wanted to do in the first place. However, don't be rigid in your decision. I was ahead of the game by knowing what I wanted to major in, By the time I needed to choose a specialization, I even had credits to spare to span out to get a minor in coaching to fuel my passion for soccer. I also centralized my efforts and specialized in broadcast journalism rather than print because, well, a bit egotistical of me, really. I knew how to write, so I wanted to learn a different medium and expand my versatility. Be honest with yourself, your skills, and trying to project a future plan. Secret number 4, don't feel discouraged. You might sit bench your whole first year, and your second. You might not see the field much until the last game of your career, where you score the final penalty to snag the conference championship title for your team and help push them through the NCAAs. True story. Whatever your journey may look like, it's okay. You might also have an extremely successful college career. While you're going through it, just don't forget to keep your eyes on the prize, your ultimate goal and dream of going pro. That's what kept me going all those years. National team. Here's where we get a bit tricky. The national team. This section doesn't mean you have to be the next Sydney Leroux. However, if you do have the opportunity to try out for the national team, go for it. You never know. Throughout my soccer career, I played for 2 different nations, Brazil and Portugal. Representing the national team is one of my proudest accomplishments to date. No matter how many goals I may have scored or not scored, or how many games I may have played or not played, if you're playing soccer or have any inkling about sports, you know that playing and representing your country is one of the highest levels of accomplishments. If you can do that, it not only is an amazing line on your player's CV and your professional resume, it also is an incredible honor and an experience of a lifetime. Secret number 5, try out, no matter how young you are or how far it is. If there are trials in your area, or if you want to go through the ODP program, Olympic Development Program, go to them. You never know unless you try, and that is something to definitely live by and follow here. The last thing you want to be left thinking is, what if? If you have to travel a few hours to get to the tryout, and there's going to be hundreds of girls there, who cares? Be confident in yourself as a player and go show them everything you have. I was 15 when my parents heard about the opportunity to try out for the U17 Brazilian national team. It would be in Brazil, and I would have to travel a couple plane rides just for a one-day trial. Before I left with my little backpack for the weekend, however, my parents had heard of someone in Florida who had connections with CBF, Confederação Brasileira de Futebol, or Brazilian Football Confederation for those of you who think Brazilian is a language and can't figure out what it means. For the record, Brazilians speak Portuguese, not Brazilian. I went through years of people asking me if I spoke Brazilian, and it still to this day drives me insane and leaves me amused at the same time. We waited to see what he thought before I left. After hours of driving me to see this connection, he immediately told me and my parents that it was a lost opportunity, and I definitely did not have what it takes to make the national team. Sending me would be a waste of time and money. Secret number 6, don't think, just go and give it your all. But send me they did. I believed and they believed, and if anything, the rejection fueled my fire to make it. On a Sunday, after a grueling tryout of over 40 girls, only 2 girls, remember those statistics I showed you earlier, got chosen and invited for a national team 3-month camp taking place within the next couple weeks. I was one of them. Throughout the camp, cut after cut, I ended up being one of the 20 girls to represent Brazil at the World Cup qualifiers in Chile. We also ended up qualifying for the U17 World Cup, which would be in New Zealand in 2008. I was just 15 and I had already had the experience of a lifetime. Secret number 17, barriers don't exist. If you can, check in your passport potential. My sister and I both had eligibility of getting our Portuguese and Brazilian passports, which made it possible for us to play for both national teams. After my sister left the U20 Brazilian national team and made the Portuguese senior national team, I followed suit and played for the U19 Portuguese national team and then the seniors, all made possible with our shiny 3 passports and a hell of a lot of hard work and training, of course, miles flown, etc. If you don't make the U17 national team, try again for the U20, and so on and so forth. Don't take no for an answer. Ask the coaches what you need to improve on and go improve it. Be humble in your quest. Always try to be better, but be relentless. Never give up. Secret number 8. Juniors are not guaranteed a spot on the senior national team. Although that might seem a bit harsh, it's a great piece of motivation to take with you if you've never made one of the younger U17, U15, or other junior-aged teams. If you work your butt off and perform well in tryouts, you can just as easily kick someone out of their spot and go get yours. If you are participating and have made the junior teams, congratulations. That's awesome. However, don't get complacent. As I just mentioned, anyone can take your place, and you can sure as heck bet that they think they're going to outwork you. As the saying goes, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. So work hard to keep your spot. Professional teams. I knew that I wanted to play soccer since I was 3 years old. I knew that I wanted to go professional as soon as I knew you could. I knew that becoming a professional soccer player wasn't going to be an easy road, but I was 100% up for the challenge. Secret number 9. Do your research and prepare beforehand. Lots of girls out there here play professionally and are sent skyrocketing out of control with their imagination and their doubt. The term seems like such an unreachable dream, such an unattainable goal. However, if you prepare yourself beforehand, not with just training and hard work ethic, but with getting knowledgeable about your options, you can make what may seem like an unattainable dream a reality in a matter of very concrete and very possible steps. If you lay out the possibilities, looking into leagues all around the world, finding out about salaries and reading through forums, you can base your opportunities off of actual real-life experiences. Although there will be lots of surprises throughout your professional soccer career, you'll be more knowledgeable and prepared to expect the expected because, don't worry, you'll have enough of the unexpected to be shocked about later. Secret number 10. Broaden your horizons. As you might have already guessed, I don't have too much trouble hopping on a plane and flying around the world at the sign of a contract and seeing what there is. My first contract was through an agent I knew, who actually I had written for. See, connections get you places. And I went with full trust, an open mind, and a ready heart. Let me first start off by saying I didn't know any German, not one word of it. At times of nervousness, I couldn't even muster up the knowledge of the word nein, which almost the whole world knows means no in English. So ultimately, entering into the German-speaking part of Switzerland could have just as well been like landing on the runway of planet Venus. However, with an open mind and just ultimately knowing that I wanted to play soccer professionally, I accepted the contract, signed it, and went. FYI, after an intensive German course and living almost 3 years in the country, I can definitely speak it now. At the end of the day, the secret shouldn't say broaden your horizons, but actually just go. As the amazing Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. At least you'll get one heck of a story out of your adventures. Secret number 11. Don't be afraid to stay longer, and don't be afraid to leave. Making any sort of big decision in your life can feel like a conundrum. However, regardless of what everyone is telling you, advice coming in from left and right, you need to listen to what you feel comfortable with. If that means staying 2.5 years in a small town in Switzerland of 1,852 people, plus the 8 soccer players in the area, because you love the setup and the people, then stay. If that means going because you just want to see what you find on the other side, pack your bags, sign a contract, and leave. Don't be afraid to dive into the unknown, which might be keeping you from seeing your first contract. Don't get your feet wet, just jump in. The water's fine. Don't get your feet wet, jump in. The water's fine. Even though your parents, friends, and loved ones might have the best at heart for you, ultimately you have to live through your decisions. So make them wisely, but don't be afraid. Secret number 12. Take the plunge and sign. Weigh your options. Get as many proposals and opportunities as possible. You might just have the one option. It might not be much, and it might not be the best, but it might just be your first opportunity that you can open up so many more doors to a long and fulfilling professional career. Just a side note here. To throw all those doubts out the window, we do not get paid as much as the men. Not even close. Although we're definitely taking steps towards that, getting higher and higher salaries, and better accommodations and setups, better gear and playing surfaces, it's still absolutely nowhere near the men, nor where it should be. Just to give you an idea, here is an actual salary structure of the US NWSL by year. With a minimum of 18 years and a maximum of 20 on its active roster, the non-allotted players, those not under the US or Canadian National Team Federation, fall under a league salary structure and count against the league salary cap. Therefore, this money is then distributed among all the players in the league. Year 2017. Minimum salary $15,000. Maximum salary $41,700. Salary cap $315,000. Year 2016. Minimum salary $7,200. Maximum salary $39,700. Salary cap $278,000. Year 2015. Minimum salary $6,842. Maximum salary $37,800. Salary cap $265,000. Year 2014. Minimum salary $6,600. Maximum salary $31,500. Salary cap $220,000. Year 2013. Minimum salary $6,000. Maximum salary $30,000. Salary cap $200,000. That's, however, in the U.S. League. In other countries, salary ranges can be more or less depending on where you are going, which league you'll be playing in, and which cup you'll be playing for. However, before you go off thinking that you're going to be earning more than you're struggling to find a career friend, it might be possible, however, highly unlikely, especially if you're on the lower end of the pay grade and signing for your first team. Chapter Review. No, this isn't a part of the book where I go and ask you multiple choice and critical thinking questions based on details of the sections of the chapter, and you have to send me the answers, even though that would be pretty entertaining for me. This is where I'm going to be re-emphasizing the main core points that I talked about in the chapter, so even if you skipped around and skimmed, you can know most of the important things and take away from my story. This is where I'm going to be re-emphasizing the main core points that I've talked about in the chapter. So, even if you skipped around and skimmed, you can know the most important things to take away from my story. Chapter Secrets. Secret number 1. Commit as early as possible. This will help you secure a spot and find a scholarship on a school of your choice. Secret number 2. Do your research beforehand. Look into the team, the academic reputation, the majors given, and the campus. Go on your college visits. Secret number 3. Pick a major before you go. If you can, narrow it down to certain degrees you would like to have and which track you'd like to take. This will save you money and time in the long run. Secret number 4. Don't feel discouraged. Even if you ride bench most of your collegiate career, you still are getting a degree and can focus your efforts on your soccer career after college. Always be humble and try to get better for the future, in soccer and in life. Secret number 5. Try out no matter how young you are or how far it is. If you have an opportunity to try out for the national team, do so, no matter where you have to go and what you have to do to get there. Secret number 6. Don't think, just go, and give it your all. If you've done everything you could in your power to prepare for your tryout, then all that's left is to go and give everything you've got in hopes that you'll go far in the process. Secret number 7. Barriers don't exist. For the national team, don't let any kind of barrier stand in your way. If it's what you want and you're passionate about it, be humble in your approach, learn through every experience, and keep pushing through those barriers. Secret number 8. Juniors are not guaranteed a spot on the senior national team. Even if you haven't landed a spot on the U15, U17, or U20 teams, you can still take a spot on the senior national team. Junior players are not guaranteed and are not wholly untouchable players. Secret number 9. Do your research and prepare beforehand. To play professionally, know the various options you may have. Which countries take international players, who pays and who doesn't, who are agents that you can work with, etc. Secret number 10. Broaden your horizons. Be open to various cultures and languages. The chances of playing in the US are also pretty slim, even though it is possible. So get comfortable with the idea of leaving home and going overseas for a season or 5. Secret number 11. Don't be afraid to stay longer and don't be afraid to leave. Ultimately, the decision to sign with a team or remove a contract with a team is yours. Even though you can and should listen to the advice from family, friends, and loved ones, you're the one who has to play and live with the decision. Secret number 12. Take the plunge and sign. Once you've found a good deal and done your waiting to see and weigh your options, sign your name on that dotted line and go for it.